The municipal solid waste charging demonstration scheme now underway at 14 locations. Travelers head back to the city as the Easter holidays draw to a close. And in Turkey, the opposition makes huge gains in local elections. Hello, happy Monday, and welcome to TVB News. The demonstration scheme for the municipal solid waste charging program began today at 14 locations. They include residential estates, restaurants, and shopping malls. As numerous elderly citizens remain confused about how the scheme works, and some residents still haven't received the designated garbage bags, district councillors have called for more clarity and education efforts from the government. Jackie Lin with more.
At Awning House in Chunwan, resident Grandma Chan will no longer use this assortment of rubbish bags, but only these 15-liter green designated plastic bags. Day one of the 4-month waste charging trial, Grandma Chan says she would try to recycle more, but if possible, she'd rather use regular plastic bags to carry trash as they don't cost extra. Chunwan District Councillor Ku Yuan Pong said a lot of senior citizens are not familiar with the scheme, and he hopes the care teams can help with education efforts. Participating in the trial too is private residential estate Genius Court in Kowloon City.
We got the rubbish plastic bag, but we are not yet think about how to throw away all our useless stuff. Maybe the rubbish bag is not big enough for our big stuff. So I'm not ready for the schemes.
For me, even my employer told very fast. Yeah. She was surprisingly surprised of this. About 4 months, not enough to prepare.
Bit of inconvenience, of course, but then at the end of the day, we try to teach our kids to not to throw too much rubbish, and we'll try to throw less rubbish.
Kowloon City District Councillor Ng Po Ker noted a lack of food waste recycling facilities in the neighborhood, which can hamper the waste reduction goal of the scheme. He hopes the government will set up mobile recycling points to facilitate such efforts. Also part of the trial, 2 3-new residential buildings in Shenzhen with no owners corporations, no residents organizations, and no engaged property management companies. Some residents there said they still haven't received the designated bags from the government and were told to go all the way to Shek Mei to get the bags after inquiring relevant officers. Among the 4 participating restaurants, this one in Mongkok did not use the designated rubbish bags as well. Its staff said the 20-liter plastic bags can securely hold the heavy food waste. Another tea house in Sampo Kong, also a participant in the demonstration scheme, started to use the designated trash bags on Sunday. And the trash bags set them back around $250 a day. Its manager said it's most troublesome to dispose of the styrofoam boxes, baskets, and soy sauce buckets because they take up so much space in the plastic bags. The government earlier said they will collect opinions and operational data from different stakeholders, including residents, frontline cleaners, and property management companies, and submit a report about their views on the waste charging scheme to the Legislative Council in around June. Jackie Lin, TVB News.
Crowds appeared at Lowu Railway Station in Shenzhen Bay Port on the last day of the Easter holiday. Up until 4 p.m., almost 480,000 people had traveled in and out of the city via different checkpoints. Mimo Singai reports.
Time flies when you are having fun. The 4-day Easter holiday is drawing to a close, meaning many residents have to return to work on Tuesday. Crowds appeared at Lowu Immigration Control Point in the afternoon. Many people traveled with children and said they plan to cross the border early to avoid crowds. This mother said it took her around half an hour to clear immigration and customs, which she thinks was acceptable.
I mean, I have to leave Guangzhou early morning because I know later, like 6 p.m. or like 7, it will be almost impossible.
Everything was really fast. Wasn't too. It was really crowded though, so 10 to 20 minutes.
Similarly, Shenzhen Bayport was also full of travelers returning to Hong Kong from the mainland. While some traveled light, others had suitcases. Police officers were deployed to keep order. Metal barriers were set up to direct the flow of people. This man who visited Zhongshan in Guangdong province described the border crossing experience as smooth and fast. It took me 5 minutes to cross 2 borders, he said. This woman also said her return journey was smooth. She spent 4 days in Xiamen. Things are much cheaper on the mainland, she added. The Hong Kong-Zhuhai-Macau Bridge is another busy checkpoint. More than 80,400 cars moving in both directions on Sunday. Meanwhile, locals who did not leave town over the holiday said the city was fairly quiet. Lawmaker Peter Shiu said it has become a habit among local residents to travel across the border, posing a major challenge for the retail and food and beverage sectors. Shiu believes the city needs to work together to tackle the challenge. News 9, TVB News.
Around 3,000 people have been appointed to the area committees, district fight crime committees, and district fire safety committees, collectively known as the 3 committees. Members of these committees are also responsible for nominating district council election candidates. Among the appointees are all 470 incumbent district councillors. Their 2-year appointments start today. The government says the appointment of all serving district council members to become members of the 3 committees can help strengthen the connection and collaboration between the local bodies and the district councils. President Xi Jinping today met Indonesia's President-elect Prabowo Subianto in Beijing. Prabowo has chosen China as the first country to visit after winning February's election. He is in Beijing at Xi's invitation and will stay until tomorrow. According to China's Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Prabowo will also meet Premier Li Qiang. Xi and Prabowo were expected to exchange views on bilateral relations and issues of mutual interest. The ministry also said the visit demonstrates the strength of China-Indonesia ties, adding it is a great opportunity to further enhance traditional friendship, deepen comprehensive strategic cooperation, and better synergize development strategies. China has promised to import more high-quality products and services from France. That's after a European probe into Chinese electric vehicle exports supported by Paris threatened to spark a tit-for-tat trade dispute between the 2 countries. At a joint press conference with his French counterpart Stéphane Séjourne, Foreign Minister Wang Yi said China hoped Europe's de-risking policy was not targeted at specific countries and should not violate World Trade Organization rules. He said Beijing is constantly relaxing market access, including promoting the flow of cross-border data. Séjourne said France will continue talks on de-risking with China and that it does not suggest the European Union take protectionist measures. Last year, the European Commission launched an investigation on whether China's EV industry has benefited from unfair subsidies. In response, China launched an anti-dumping investigation into brandy imports from Europe. Turkey's main opposition party retained its control over key cities and made huge gains elsewhere in Sunday's local elections. This in a major upset to President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, who had set his sights on retaking control of those urban areas. Daniel Rell tells us more.
With more than 90% of ballot boxes counted, incumbent Istanbul Mayor Ekrem İmamoğlu of the Republican People's Party, or CHP, was leading by a wide margin in Turkey's largest city and economic hub. Mansur Yavaş, the mayor of the capital Ankara, retained his seat with a stunning 25-point difference over his challenger. In all, the CHP won the municipalities of 36 of Turkey's 81 provinces, making inroads into many strongholds of President Recep Tayyip Erdogan's party. It gained 37% of the votes nationwide compared to 36% for the president's party. This marks the CHP's greatest electoral victory since Erdogan came to power 2 decades ago. In Turkey's mainly Kurdish-populated southeast, the DEM party was on course to win many of the municipalities, but it's unclear whether it would be allowed to retain them. In previous years, Erdogan's government removed elected pro-Kurdish mayors from office for alleged links to Kurdish militants and replaced them with state-appointed trustees. The vote was seen as a barometer of Erdogan's popularity as he sought to win back control of key urban areas he lost to the opposition in elections 5 years ago. The CHP's victory in Ankara and Istanbul in 2019 had shattered Erdogan's aura of invincibility. Erdogan acknowledged the electoral setback in a speech delivered from the balcony of the presidential palace. He said his party had suffered a loss of altitude across Turkey, and that the people delivered a message that his party will analyze by engaging in courageous self-criticism. Erdogan vowed to press ahead with an economic program introduced last year that aims to combat inflation. Analysts said a strong showing for Erdogan's party would have hardened his resolve to usher in a new constitution, one that would reflect his conservative values and allow him to rule beyond 2028 when his current term ends. Dan Orell, TV News.
An Indian court today sent Delhi Chief Minister and key opposition leader Arvind Kejriwal to jail until April 15th in a liquor graft case. This less than 3 weeks before the country begins voting in national elections. Kejriwal's Aam Aadmi Party, or AAP, says he has been falsely arrested in what the party calls a fabricated case. Just yesterday, thousands of people attended a rally by an alliance of India's opposition parties. They accused Prime Minister Narendra Modi's government of stifling opponents and undermining democratic institutions. The Save Democracy rally was the first major public demonstration by the opposition bloc India against the arrest of Kejriwal. Opposition leaders have criticized Kejriwal's arrest as undemocratic and accused Modi's Bharatiya Janata Party of using the federal agencies to undermine them. Modi's government and his party deny targeting the opposition and stress that law enforcement agencies act independently. Romania and Bulgaria partially joined Europe's ID check-free travel zone on Sunday. After years of negotiations to join the Schengen area, there is now free access for travelers arriving by air or sea from both countries. However, land border checks will remain in place due to opposition primarily from Austria, which has long blocked their bid over illegal migration concerns. Both countries have agreed to implement random security screening at airports and maritime borders to combat illegal migration and cross-border crime. Bulgaria's interior minister told the press he expects his country to fully join Schengen by the end of 2024. EU Commission President Ursula von der Leyen hailed the change as a huge success for both countries and a historic moment for what is the world's largest free travel zone. The Schengen area was established in 1985. Before Bulgaria and Romania's admission, it was comprised of 23 of the 27 EU member countries, along with Switzerland, Norway, Iceland, and Liechtenstein. Around 3.5 million people cross an internal border each day. Still ahead, an Israeli airstrike hits the courtyard of a hospital in central Gaza, killing 2 Palestinians. Former Taiwan leader Ma Ying-jeou starts a new visit to the mainland. And enhanced training for the fire services diver team to prepare for potential extreme weather in the city. Welcome back. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is said to have undergone a successful hernia operation in a Jerusalem hospital. Hospital officials say he was conscious and conversing with family earlier today. Meanwhile, the Israeli military says it has ended its operation at Gaza's largest hospital after a 2-week raid. Israel also hit a tented area near another hospital in central Gaza. Nazvi Karim has more.
This was the moment an Israeli airstrike hit a tent camp in the courtyard of Al-Aqsa Martyrs Hospital in Dar el-Balah in central Gaza. Authorities say 2 Palestinians died. One of them, according to Israel, was a senior figure of the Palestinian Islamic Jihad group, an ally of Hamas. No name was given. Say they also killed 15 gunmen in Khan Yunis in the south, having reportedly blocked access to 2 hospitals as they carry out airstrikes in the area. Negotiators in Cairo for ceasefire talks with Egyptian and Qatari mediators. Many people in Israel are running out of patience. In Jerusalem, tens of thousands of Israelis staged an anti-government protest demanding Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu forge a deal with Hamas to release the hostages. It was the largest demonstration in Israel since the war began on October 7th. The crowd on Sunday stretched for blocks around the Knesset or Parliament building, and organizers vowed to continue the demonstration for several days. They urged the government to hold new elections nearly 2 years ahead of schedule. Nazvi Karim, TVB News.
A new-look Palestinian Authority government was sworn in on Sunday in the city of Ramallah in the occupied West Bank. 23 ministers in the new cabinet took their oaths at a swearing-in ceremony. Incoming Prime Minister Mohammed Mustafa, who will also be serving as foreign minister, had formed a technocratic government to help rebuild Gaza. President Mahmoud Abbas of the secular Fatah movement will remain in overall control, having led the Palestinian Authority for almost 2 decades. The United States welcomed the new members, saying it's a step towards political reform and hoping the West Bank-based Palestinian government can also govern Gaza once the war ends. Both Israel and Hamas reject the idea. The U.S. state of California is raising the minimum wage for fast food workers to $20 an hour, up from the previous $16. The new law kicks in on Monday, giving more financial security to a historically low-paying profession. More than 500,000 people work in the state's fast food restaurants, mostly adults who need to support their families. Franchise owners complain that it would raise prices and may force businesses to lay off staff. Exempt are restaurants producing and selling bread as a standalone menu item. At first, it appeared this would exempt Panera Bread restaurants, whose owner, Greg Flynn, is a campaign donor to California's Democrat Governor Gavin Newsom. However, Newsom's administration says the wage increase law does apply to Panera because it does not make dough on site, while Flynn said he would pay the $20. Former leader of Taiwan, Ma Ying-jeou, arrived in Shenzhen and began his 11-day trip to mainland China with 20 Taiwan students. Before departing Taipei, Ma told the press that he hopes to promote exchanges between young people from Taiwan and the mainland and reduce cross-strait hostility. In the evening, Ma was received by the director of the State Council Taiwan Affairs Office, Song Tao, who said mainland and Taiwanese residents are one family and there should be more cooperation and communication between both sides. According to information released by his office, Ma Ying-jeou will stay in Guangdong for 3 days and visit offices of Chinese drone maker DJI and tech giant Tencent. Last year, Ma led a delegation of Taiwanese students on a visit to the mainland. Ma is reportedly expected to meet President Xi Jinping during his trip to the mainland this time. In late 2015, Ma met Xi in Singapore in a landmark summit. The former leader of Taiwan and Beijing have not yet confirmed the said meeting. A Greater Bay Airlines passenger aircraft reported suspected cracks in its cockpit windscreen mid-flight yesterday. The plane was flying from Osaka back to Hong Kong and landed safely in the SAR. The Greater Bay Airlines flight HB341 was carrying 152 passengers and 8 crew members at the time. The airline said investigations are underway. Keqing, the former chairman of the aviation branch of the Hong Kong Institution of Engineers, noted the different causes that could lead to the formation of cracks. He said birds or hailstorms might have hit the windscreen, Water seepage could have caused the aircraft's heating system to malfunction, or they may have been defects during the installation process. Hui said planes usually have 3 layers of windscreens, and the cracks which emerge on the outer layer won't pose grave danger to a flight. The Fire Services Department has enhanced training for its diver team to prepare for potential extreme weather in Hong Kong. Mu腎新聞reports.
To handle accidents that may happen during extreme weather, the Fire Services Department has strengthened trainings for its diving team. The team is currently comprised of more than 100 divers. While the divers are usually deployed to rescue people from the ocean or rivers, they are also deployed when flooding occurs. The Fire Services Department said all frontline firemen must attend relevant courses to enhance their capabilities in the water, such as swift-water training. This outfit is prepared for firemen who need to rescue workers in manholes. However, to rescue a person from a manhole is never easy. Divers need to touch and smell their surroundings during an operation, as one cannot see inside conduits. Individuals who wish to join the diver team must fulfill a list of criteria, including 3 years of operational experience and the completion of a 4-week rescue diver training course. News 9, TVB News.
Bye for now.